Right. Well, one would be fine. But the first day, you know.
You called me up. You said, I have this idea that we need to know more about Jackson when he lived here in Jamestown. Would you be interested in looking over our materials and researching the topic? And I scarcely took a breath, but said yes. Oh yes, yes. He turns up in all kinds of places in the history of Jamestown during that period of the 20s and 30s because he was a very active man and a joiner. So any history of the city, his name appeared, and certainly he was knew all the people who were in city government, the movers and shakers, and he was one of them. I was really looking for the essence of the man. That is, of course, I called my working title was The Intimate Life of Robert Jackson, but I didn't use that one.
Why did you use the title that you did, Off the Pedestal, Jackson and Jamestown?
Well, you know, he stands there on the pedestal at the corner of 8th and North Main, and he looks pretty stiff and formal, and that wasn't what I was writing about. And everybody who knew him in Jamestown called him Bob, and he was everybody's friend, and he certainly was a far different person than what you look at if you look at the statue. So that just seemed like a kind of a good title. 1909, he graduated from Jamestown High School.
He found himself involved in various organizations. What were some of them?
Well, he very shortly after he came and started practice, he joined the Eagles, the Elks. His family were longtime Masons, so he was very active in the Masons, although he did not receive the 33rd degree officially till 1931. Or was it 30? No, he had to come back from Washington to receive it. There were these big celebrations in his honor at that time. Saturday Night Club was a club of community people. Was pretty much organized by some of you would know the name of Ernest Cawcroft, who was in city government, a close friend of Jackson's, but he organized it, and they would meet, well, sometimes it's called the Saturday Evening or Saturday Night Club, and I don't know if they met every Saturday or not, but they would have a topic and a speaker who would talk about the topic, and then a discussion, and those were the days there were no television, they had radio, but you know, people really went out, it's true, and discussed international problems of the Balkans and the you know, war situation during the First World War time, and all the questions that people are talking about today, but they're not meeting and discussing them in the same way. And then the Eagles had a Sunday afternoon discussion program, not as often occasional speakers or local speakers or guest speakers would come in, but they would always involve a discussion afterwards, so everybody in the club got to talk about it. In a real gamut of cases, he would take cases that he felt he could defend. He was really good at defense. I think, what's Gerhardt's book, American's Advocate? Is that Gerhardt's book? Yeah. And I mean, he really, and when he did a case, no matter, you know, if it was the railroad guy workers or, and then I spoke, as many of you know, the dairy case, the farmer and the typhoid fever scare and so forth, he defended the farmer, and he would just go out on the farm and look over the land, and he liked to know what he was defending, and he liked to get every fact and the site where things happened, very thorough. After the case was over, Jamestown very quickly built another sewage plant. With
the Lakewood stock farm.
Yep.
Could you explain a little bit about maybe the genesis of the farm itself and who was involved in it?
Well, it was the early 30s that Jackson, who really, he and his wife both were very good riders. They participated in raw horse shows and got medals for riding, as well as their children, especially their daughter. And so then he joined with Crawford Barger and Elmer Selstrom, and the three of them, well, it was Crawford and his wife May, they bought the derelict-looking stock farm area, and Jackson owned half interest, and the Sellstrom-Barger owned a quarter each. They really created a real riding area. They repaired the barns, built more barns, and the interesting thing that we're trying to find out what Jackson was really like, that he would go out there, you know, knock down the old stables and so forth, paint the walls. He did a lot of the work, and he really liked that. And when he was done working, he'd sit around, as expression from something I read, he'd sit around talking horse, which my son thought was a wonderful expression, with sitting on the bales of hay and talking to the guys.
What did you learn that sort of surprised you?
About Jackson?
Yeah. Or about me, either way, I don't care.
Well, that book remains to be written. So keep all your old diaries and things. I don't know. He was sort of a characterless kind of person to me when I started. I was surprised at his ambition. I did not realize that he was, and that ambition just comes through in everything he does. It's not that ambition is bad, but he always seemed to be, you know, pushing ahead and getting the next step and getting to know the right people. I think I was really surprised at his ambition.
Was there something you read that really
of his?
Of his.
Well, I was.
Wow.
I was really impressed with the speech he made, the graduating speech, when he graduated from high school, and it talks about how. Jamestown, about how Jamestown has been despoiled by the smokestacks. I think that's the speech, and how we need to think about our environment. They see there were environmental issues a little bit with him there too, and it was a very, for whatever he was, 20-year-old or 19 or 20-year-old then, it was a very, I thought, excellent speech that had a lot. I quoted a good bit of the speech at one point.
I'm just thrilled. And you talk about ambition and getting to know the right people. And I know in my world I've had a chance to meet some interesting people, but the right people are people like you. Mm-hmm. And it's just a thrill. I can't tell you on behalf of the Community Foundation, the Jackson Center, that this book has meant a lot to us, because now we have in a formable publication something which otherwise you could not really easily grab onto. It was not organized, and maybe still not be organized, but fortunately you've taken that disorganization and put it into organization. And so good. On behalf of all of us, Helen, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it so
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Because of the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation, all the proceeds, everything, all $20, all goes to the Lakewood Library. So,
oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So thank the Community Foundation for all of that.
It's wonderful.
That's terrific.